Here. Hello, hello. Welcome again to Historia Podcast. We have Alex Lay, aka Turtle Monk. Yay!
Woo! Hey!
How are you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Wow, it's been a long time since we last communicated. How when was that? When was the last time we communicated? Maybe last month.
Something like that, yeah. In the
Last
last
month.
month, yeah, because I haven't been active on Instagram for a while. I've been mainly focusing on TikTok. So
Yeah, and I can see that you've been doing well on TikTok. So
thank you,
congratulations.
man.
Yeah, I've seen your
Appreciate it.
success, especially with the Genshin Impact. So love that.
Yeah,
How
thank
was
you.
the TikTok experience by far?
It's funny you asked that because at first, even like when it first came out, I thought it was very, very unappealing. I felt like it
Right.
didn't cater. It didn't really cater to me. In slang terms, it's pretty cringe. But like, uh, as times went on, I got used to it per se, and then somehow it got to the point where it kind of catered to the type of content that I enjoyed watching in a more mature sense, and and like motivation sense, or like public speaking sense, or like inspirational sense. And then since it catered to the content they gave to me in that way towards the algorithm, it made me think different about what the platform was giving in that sort of sense. So I gave it a shot, and just posted one random video one day, and one day had 19,000 views on it, and that shook my
Wow.
mind. Yeah, my first video uh, got 19,000 views, and I was just looking at it, and I was just analyzing my videos, and I was thinking, how did it get 19,000 views? This is just me playing a video game and just reacting as an anime scene, and that's it. There's nothing special about this. I even had to talk to my video editor and my stream captain about that. He's like, "Well, it's because it's relatable. People can relate to that." So I was just like, "Oh, interesting." So that kind of piqued my interest in creating content that's relatable, that people can relate to. So that's
Wow.
what kind of got me going, and that's what made me did more Genshin Impact videos, because that was something that I really enjoyed doing. And yeah, it's amazing so far.
Wow, that's super awesome. So right, it's actually a good decision because as you can see now, it's very hard to get traction on Instagram, even if you do paid ads. I actually tried Facebook ads, and it didn't do pretty well. It's
Yeah.
really hard. It's really hard. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, on other platforms, Instagram isn't doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter is really good
Mm-hmm.
by far still.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to community, because I've been talking with the podcast community there, so it's been exploding, and
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah,
So podcasts have been doing much better on Twitter lately.
yes, podcast has been doing on Twitter so far. So
Wow.
what I do, just like I know you're again you're a fan of Gary Vee too. He would go to
Yes, I
Twitter from
am.
2007 to 2011, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised it still works even nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So just being a part of the community. So actually, most people who follow me on Twitter are podcasters or podcast enthusiasts. So um, right now I have about 380 followers.
380? Wow. That's
Yeah,
great.
within within the past 2 months. So I actually started grinding mid October, and yeah, it's already December, so that's about 2 months. So it's pretty fast. It's pretty fast.
That is actually really fast on Twitter. Yeah, especially for the occupation that you're striving for. I think it's really interesting how Twitter is still standing really well, depending how old it is. You know, it's a
Right.
very consistent platform. A lot of big companies use it, uh, and like gaming companies that I've seen, especially for MiHoYo, which is the creator of Genshin Impact. They're heavily posting a lot of stuff on there, and there's a huge community on Genshin Impact on Twitter as
Right.
well. Not only that, like game companies post a lot on Twitter as well. Um, from what I remember, and I think Gary B talked about this, like that Twitter was a hub, a social media hub for uh, technological, like technology nerds, and
Yes.
like people who liked computers and technology and all that stuff and IT stuff. And that's pretty much what attracted to a lot of people to Twitter, because they had similar values in that sort of field. So I thought
Right.
it was really cool.
It's really cool indeed. It's actually the first time that not really the first time. I had the Twitter account before just for gaming, just being a part of.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
it,
wow.
it was just exclusive for gaming, and then
Uh-huh.
I moved on to really pursue my own branding for Twitter, and I was surprised. I didn't even expect that. It was super fast. Wow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I could
So
say, oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to the listeners? I
Mm-hmm.
forgot.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, my name is Alex Lee. I go by the name Turtle Monk, and that is the brand that I'm working on establishing for my career, whether that be in video games, or in dance, or in content creating. This is the beginning of my journey, and that's the type of uh, content that I want to create.
Yes. So music. No, no, no. Music a little
Dance.
bit. Yeah. Okay.
Music? No, not music.
Okay.
Yeah, not music.
Anime, games,
Yes, anime,
and
games, and
uh,
dance.
awesome. Mini
Mm-hmm.
deep talks. I've seen that. Mini
Yeah,
deep talks. Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of dance video TikToks out there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's how TikTok started. Was mainly
Right.
doing duets and silly dance videos and stuff like that. That's how TikTok started in the beginning.
Right. Do you do dance videos on TikTok?
I rarely do. I do it from time to time. I made uh, one dance video on TikTok so far. It was just to an anime song, because that was something that I wanted to blend together to show to my community that I'm not just a video game. I'm not just a gamer. I'm also a person who likes to dance and also likes watching anime. I love Japanese pop culture. I love reading manga, and that's the community I was brought up in. And I wanted to show them a way that how I blended my craft and my joy together for them.
Wow, super awesome. Now, Alex, how did you start your gaming life? Like, how did you discover gaming?
So the first time I started gaming, the earliest I can remember is when uh my family bought me a Super Nintendo, the where they call it the SNES. And um, it's interesting because the first time I saw it was actually at my uncle's house, and I really enjoyed it. And we were playing Street Fighter. So
Ooh.
yeah, fighting games was the first thing that I was introduced to, and I love fighting games. Fighting games were fun. I enjoyed the heck out of fighting games, and then eventually got to Killer Instinct, got to Mortal Kombat, and all these sort of fun Super Nintendo fighting game series. And after that, like that's how I started gaming, was when my family bought me a Super Nintendo, and um, I loved it ever since. I don't have that Super Nintendo now, but I have fond memories of it. Good
Yeah,
times.
good times indeed. You know, Street Fighter was very popular at that time.
Yes, it
Um,
really was.
yeah, it was an explosion at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
let me share you a little bit about my story on how I discovered gaming.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you, I was also, you know, your parents introduced you to video games as well as mine. So I had this PS1. So at that time,
That
yeah,
is awesome.
my my
PS1 is
my.
awesome.
I think at that time PS1 was a hit.
Mm-hmm.
During my era, my era, not my era. Wow, I don't know, I can't think of the wordings. It's
or
just
like
insane.
my generation,
Yeah.
my generation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
I mean, I'm 28, so I was born in the 90s.
Yeah. So I'm actually 23, so
Oh, wow.
I'm a lot more younger.
You
So
do look
there,
very young.
yeah, maybe I was 3 years old when I started gaming.
Oh,
Three,
wow. That's
four.
really young. Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was super amazing experience. I actually forgot what kind of games. Maybe I can't remember now. I was too young back then,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't really remember. Ah, Crash Bandicoot. Crash
Oh, I
Bandicoot.
love that game.
Yeah,
That
that
was a really
classic. Yeah,
classic and very hard.
yeah.
Very hard game.
Indeed, it was very hard, and I was also playing Frogger.
Oh,
Yeah,
Frogger. Yeah,
Frogger.
I remember that game. Do
I
you
was
did you ever play Spyro?
Spyro. No, I
Oh, okay.
don't think so.
Okay.
But I heard of it when I grew a little older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. Now, what are some of the best games that you've played throughout your life? Can you give me
One
like
of the best games I played throughout my life.
yeah,
Wow.
some of the best?
Some of the best games I played throughout my life. Well, let me start with the recent one. And the most recent one that I enjoyed playing was Ghost of Tsushima. It came out on the PS4, I believe 6 months ago, around that time.
Yeah,
No, during COVID, during the quarantine. It was a phenomenal game. Ghost of Tsushima told the story of a Japanese samurai who was fighting against the Mongolians at that time, when the Mongolians were invading the island of Tsushima when they were trying to conquer Japan. And you play as the main character, Jin Sakai, as he goes through his trials and tribulations to reach the Mongolians. He had to come to a certain predicament on his honor code. Like there was times of questions when with the people that was helping him, um, on the situation of how to deal with Mongolia, because Khotan Khan, who was the leader of the Mongolians attacking Tsushima, he knew everything about Japan. He knew everything about the samurai code. He knew everything and ways to counterattack the Japanese. And in Jin Sakai's mind, he had to think about, do I have to abandon the samurai code and find another way to win this war for my country, to be able to live to see a better future for Tsushima? It was the story was very sad, but
oh,
beautifully written. I
yeah,
I loved seeing the world, uh, the island of Tsushima through Jin Sakai's eyes. So that was one of the most recent games that I played that really shook me to the core.
Oh my! Just telling the story makes me excited. But,
Yeah, it's a beautiful game.
super awesome. Uh, right now, I guess you're playing Genshin more. Am I right?
Yes, I am playing Genshin absolutely more, and I'm also waiting for Cyberpunk 2077.
Ooh.
Yes. It caught my attention really well, and I'm super, super excited. Supposedly, it'll be coming out within 3 to 4 days from
Yeah.
now. So,
Uh,
roughly December 9th or 10th.
is it because of Keanu?
No, it's not because of
No.
Keanu Reeves. He really did set the tone for the game, which was really funny. But definitely, what I looked into it like slightly a bit more, and it kind of caught my attention that I really like cyberpunk,
Mm,
like in terms of a genre, and I thought it was
yeah.
really beautiful how it looked, and it's funny as well because I was downloading live wallpapers for like cybernetic futuristic
Yeah.
backgrounds, and I really like the style. It kind of reminded me of the anime Ghost in the Shell. If you're ever familiar
Yeah.
with the
Ghost
anime,
in
yes, definitely reminded me so much of Ghost in the Shell. So that's why I really want to give it a shot when it comes out. And right now, yes, I am definitely playing a lot of Genshin because it is my main source of content for the time being. What I really love about Genshin is that it had a very open world feel to it. It's
Right.
a not only that, the thing is that Genshin Impact is actually a mobile game. And what's so interesting of what MiHoYo did to to the mobile game community is they literally revolutionized they revolutionized it in such a way that no other mobile game has done before. There has been, mobile games that does like action RPG oriented, but
Yes.
never something open world in a 3D perspective such as
Correct.
this. So
And
yeah.
I think crossplay, they really took advantage of that as well. The
Mhm.
crossplay feature. I
Mhm.
mean, it's not new, but I think that also helped a lot, right?
It definitely helps out a lot, especially towards uh, PlayStation players, PC players, and
Yeah.
mobile players.
Yeah.
Supposedly, it's supposed to come out on the Switch as well.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
The Switch. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alex, will you be able to share how gaming has helped you in your life? Like,
Sure.
how, okay.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about gaming is it's literally the first thing that uh, became my hobby when I was a kid. I uh, I didn't think that um, I didn't think that I could make um, turn gaming to a passion until now recently. Because the thing is that back then when I was younger, we lived in a time period where gaming was shunned upon. You
Right.
know, parents didn't like us playing video games a lot. They thought it was a waste of time. It was a time period where they wanted us to go to college and get us a good education, and because that was the standard in my family household, that's what they believed in was go to college, get a master's degree, or get a doctorate or PhD, and either uh, being a doctor or a engineer and make a lot of money so you can take care of us. That was the whole tradition per se in my family.
Yes.
Um, and later on down the road, especially towards when I was like 19 years old, it got to a point where I felt like, where's my sense of freedom? Where is my sense of joy in what I want to do rather than live someone else's life that they created for me, you know? And gaming wasn't really my main passion. Like I went through music was my first passion. And then I realized that wasn't for me. Then it became dance. And then dance was just a fraction of what I wanted to do. But then it came back all the way back to video gaming, which was a huge shock for me because I never thought I could create something out of gaming. You know, when
Right.
when what I love about gaming, what changed my life is the storytelling that the creators bring within inside their game. Because I'm a huge person for open world types of video games and storytelling. Storytelling video games tells a lot. For me, I feel like it tells a lot about what the creators had in mind, what message they want to portray in the story inside the video game.
Right.
Eh,
Sometimes it's even deep, right? There's a deeper meaning, for example, they would hide it from a picture, right?
mm-hmm.
Just from a picture, and you can tell there's a reference already, right? Video game references or
Yeah.
uh, movie references or
Oh
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
definitely.
feel like I feel like there's always a deeper meaning in in a creative sense. Sometimes sometimes it doesn't seem that way, but there always seems to be a deeper meaning. Especially one of my recent favorite video games. I wouldn't say recent favorite video games, but this is a very uh, big series that I love a lot, which is called the Persona series. And Persona 5 is my absolute favorite video game because of the amount of heavy story and heavy dialogue that they portray and tell in that game. So yeah.
Wow. This this is really amazing, There's a lot of just in the storytelling portion,
Mm-hmm.
like it can also draw out emotions, right? It can make you feel, you know depending on the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can even, like, uh if you know Call of Duty games, right? Press F in the
Yeah.
chat. Press
Yeah.
F to pay respects.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So also, all right. You mentioned about your dancing. You did a fraction of it.
Mm-hmm.
Please share with us the dance moves that you do and what's the connection behind them, or what's the deeper meaning behind your dance. Because I noticed that you are, I think you're more into contemporary dancing. Am I right?
Um, well, it's not contemporary that I'm into. I'm into hip hop
Hip
dance.
hop.
Yes, hip hop dance. Um, the thing with that, it's interesting because hip hop dance now is very popular.
Yeah.
Um, and the reason why I wanted to get into hip hop dance was really to build my confidence in myself. And the beautiful thing about hip hop dance is that it gave me a path to people that I wanted to surround myself with the same mindset and the same inspiration and mentality that I wanted to be around. It was really interesting because these people I met have really changed my life. And, dance has been a huge part of my life because even though it's a fraction of my life, it's a huge fraction of my life. Since these people are really, really wise, they're humble, they taught me what empathy was. It taught me what it means to be empathetic, what it means to show care for other people. Because I grew in a very, very selfish lifestyle until I met them and learned how to be more open and be more um, generous and giving towards other people rather than all for myself.
Wow. And you know what? The word empathy, it's really hard to execute, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can simply say to the person that you understand the person, but I think most people out there, or many people out there, doesn't really, like putting himself on other person's situation. So like imagining, I think the key to empathy is how would you imagine yourself, like imagining yourself on that scenario, like what would we feel, what would you do? So it's very hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that you were able to find, people that can empathize with you. So it's really, really amazing. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. It's an interesting balance. It's an important concept, no doubt about it. If
Right.
anything, it's a strong mentality to have. Not to show vulnerability is very tough for a lot of people, especially in a world where everybody wants to look towards being perfect all the time
Right.
and not embracing our own flaws and our own um, weaknesses, because it just shows what it means to be human, how important it is to be human. You don't need perfection. You don't. If anything, perfection only hinders who you truly are as a person.
Right.
So yeah.
Indeed. So I can see that you was that one of your reasons why you created your podcast? Like what made you decide to do your own podcast about a year ago?
So when I created my podcast, which is Creative Emotions, it's still up there on. I'm trying to remember the platform that I recorded it on.
Spotify.
Yeah, it is on Spotify. You're right. I was using a different program, and that program shoots it out to Spotify, to Apple Podcasts.
Anchor?
That's why. Uh, I think so. I think it's called
Yeah,
Anchor. Yeah,
Anchor. Yeah.
yeah,
I use
Anchor,
that too.
Anchor. Yeah, Anchor. That's the one that I used, which is a
Right.
great program to start off on. No doubt about it. The reason why I created the Creative Emotions was because I went on a journey. It was called the 100-Day Challenge. And the 100-Day Challenge uh, was to do anything creative for 100 days. It
Wow.
doesn't have to be 100 days straight, it can be, on whatever creative process that you want to do. It was created by my dance director, Mitch Villarreal. And I took that journey. But the interesting thing is that I challenged myself really, really hard on that journey. And that journey was to do it 100 days straight, um, with 100 types of different emotions. So
Wow.
my goal was to do dancing freestyles with that emotion in mind and post it for 100 days straight. Did I do it 100 days straight? No. That's why I had to reinforce myself that whenever I missed a day, I would have to go running. And I hated running. I hate running.
Yeah,
It's
me too. It
yeah,
sucks.
it sucks. It's one of the reasons why I danced, because I didn't want to run. Like I did not like running in high school or any activity that requires me just to go do a mile or anything like that. That was not something that I enjoyed doing. So, but yeah, so I would have to do that to reinforce myself to to dance, or else I would have to run, and that would not be a good time for me.
It's
So
very uncomfortable indeed, right?
yeah, so like so like whenever like I wake up or and to do the dance thing, or if I like I'm for like a specific I'm like I feel lazy, I don't want to dance, but at the back of my head he's telling me that oh, if you don't dance, well then do you want to run? And I'm like, no, I guess I'll dance. So
Wow.
and I think I only missed 3 or 4 days
Mhm.
of the 100-day challenge. like so I only had to run for 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and the other rest of the 100 days I was able to complete with 100 different types of emotions. Very challenging, but very inspiring. And because of that 100-day challenge, that's what led to me doing Creative Emotions podcast, because I wanted to create a podcast of how it'd be like for men to share their emotions. Because in the society that we lived and they always had a tradition about men aren't allowed to show their emotions.
Right.
They're not allowed to show weakness, cry, or show empathy
Vulnerable.
or anything like that. Yeah, they weren't allowed to show vulnerability. They had to be strong. They had to be fit. They had to be, aka the man of the house. So they had to lead. They had to be the forefront. They had to, bring home the money, and they had to be everything basically, in a
Right.
sense. And Creative Emotions was a podcast that was meant to break that fourth wall in men. That it's okay to show your emotions. If anything, it is manly to be able to show who you truly are if you are an emotional human being, you know which I
Yes.
am. I'm very in tune with my emotions. At the same time, I learned to control them, so that way I learn to be a better person. So yeah, that's the whole reason why I created Creative Emotions,
Wow.
especially with my best friend, uh, Cedric, Cedric Papa,
Cedric.
who's he's a Filipino
Ooh.
counselor. Yeah,
Wow. Oh, so we have the same nationality. I hope I can meet him one day too.
yeah, he's a very wise person. He's very, very immaculate with his words. He's very caring and very understanding, and very, very empathetic towards other people. He's just really, really kind, and I
Wow.
enjoy being around him. He,
Fantastic.
yeah. If anything, I felt like he should have been the one to lead Creative Emotions.
Ooh, very
Hmm.
fantastic. I love that. So, do you still have any plans of continuing the podcast? Do you have any, like, to keep it going maybe once a year or, you know,
So the interesting thing about Creative Emotions was, it was a project that I just wanted to try. It was something that I wanted to see how what I was able to do with it. And I knew, in the back of my mind, that it was something that I just wanted to try. It wasn't meant to be something long term. It was meant to be something just in the moment for the time being. Because I didn't have any long term goals with the podcast. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. But yeah, like, there's no doubt about it that I enjoyed doing Creative Emotions. It really opened a different perspective on what I wanted to see. If anything, it helped me with my communication skills as well. You know.
right? How to speak in, with a lot to a lot of people, to
Mm-hmm.
many audiences. Even
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting about podcasts is you don't know who your audience is. You can only see like the demographics, maybe the years, how your roles are, um, your audiences, but you don't know who they really are. They
Mm-hmm.
even show the country, but there's not a lot of details. So it's a complete mystery of who you're.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So which helped a lot. It can really be helpful. So
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes when you know who your audience is, you'll be frightened. You have this stage fright. You have this anxiety coming. You have this butterflies in the stomach.
Oh
So
yeah, no doubt about it.
yeah, no doubt. So it's really good that they don't really show your audience. and it's really good that it's audio only. You know, you have the
Mm-hmm.
option to do the with the video, but it's audio only. So it's very, it makes people a little more confident to those who are, a little bit shy with the camera.
Oh yeah, no
Uh,
doubt.
yeah, so that's it's a good thing to explore, and I would also recommend a lot of people to try it as well,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So here's an interesting thing. I actually asked, most of, a lot of guests about this. So how would you rate your happiness levels now? Like, can you rate it?
Oh wow.
Are you able to rate it from 1 to 10?
I'd say my happiness right now is an eight. Is a I want to say a 10 or a 9 or 11 or whatever, but like
Wow.
it's a bit unrealistic. Um, I'd say, even with the whole pandemic and the whole situation's going right now, I want to rate it. I want to rate it a 7.
7.
You know, you know, like I want to feel prepared and I want to feel moderately satisfied because um, right now it's a tough world out there, especially
Right.
since a lot of jobs and situations they're afflicted with COVID. For me, I'm quite thankful that it's opened an opportunity for me to pursue in a pursue in a career that I didn't think was possible for me, which is content creating right now, which is what I'm currently pursuing. And it's just so interesting how something like life changing drastic can shove you in a direction that you never think was going to happen.
Yeah.
So um, I'm moderately happy where I'm at right now. You know, if anything, I'm comfortable being at home more than anything.
Yeah.
But I love being outside with my friends and hanging out with them as well, or going outside from time to time as well. But yeah, you know, definitely a 7.
7. Love that. You know what's really good is that, since you are a are you a full time streamer now? Like, are you still working on?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm a full time streamer. Um, if anything, I haven't been streaming for a while. Right now, I'm working towards um, streaming again. I'm thinking about brainstorming about working 3 days a week for streaming.
Mhm.
Um, for the most of the time, I've been doing content creating for TikTok.
I
That's my
see.
main focus right now, and I will be making videos for YouTube. That's
Fantastic.
something that I'll be working as well. So really, if in the grand scheme of things, right now I'm exploring how I'm going to create my Turtle Monk brand through TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. So that's the scenario that I'm working towards right now.
Wow. That's
Mm-hmm.
great. Love that. Okay. All right. So, what are your pieces of advice to those who might pursue, being a streamer on Twitch or being a content creator? Do you have any pieces of advice?
Um, from my experience, um, one thing's for sure: make the content about stuff that you like. That's the most important thing. If you don't like the content that you're making, no one else is gonna like the content that you're
Correct.
making. You know, if anything, don't make content for views. Don't make content for publicity. Make it because it's something that you believe in yourself. That you're willing to show to the world, like, hey, this is something that I love, and I want to make a community or be around people that love what I do. That's the most important thing for content creating. Content creating takes a lot of mental and creative energy
Correct.
to make these types of things. And at the same time, you must be consistent with it.
Indeed.
So yeah, it's a very, very ultimate journey, especially in this field. For streaming, I definitely recommend to not do it for money on streaming. The thing is right now is that, especially for Twitch streaming, it is in in a position where smaller streamers are struggling really, really hard to grow a fan base
Yeah.
on that platform. It is much more important to focus on content creating through social media or through YouTube to create that fan base first, and then use that and bring over to people towards Twitch. Because the interesting thing is that when I look at content creators on YouTube, or when I look at content creators on TikTok, or in any social media platform, they are more successful in bringing a fan base over to Twitch than from Twitch to the other platforms.
That's yeah. You're right. Because you must build. I think you should build your fan base first, like building your social media platforms before you route them into. And it also helps if you have multiple social media accounts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Uh,
I
right.
agree.
You don't have to be one dimensional when it comes to content creation. And you're right. You also have to be consistent. Uh, when I actually do this podcast weekly, and uh, you know, as for content creation, I do post a lot, like every
Mm-hmm.
single day on Instagram, on uh, uh, uh Facebook, on Twitter, being
Mm-hmm.
a part of the community as well. So you have to engage
Mm-hmm.
until you successfully create a fan base. So yeah,
Right.
that's a really good piece of advice there. And of course, it's when you make content, I also agree that you don't have to view it for views, for publicity. Just do what you love. That just do yourself. Just be yourself. Being yourself and doing what you like, that really helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you're gonna do it for publicity, if you're gonna do it for views, I think you won't last, right?
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
won't
a
last.
lot of people don't last, just because of that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Just to gain viewers, maybe after a few months they already get frustrated. Yeah,
Well, not only that, if it's kind of like this as well. Let's say you do get a bunch of viewers. Let's say you do get a bunch of followers
yeah,
on a social media platform. Where are they going to remember you as? Are they going to remember you as, oh, hey, it's that guy who ate 100 fries in 55 seconds?
mm,
Or are they going to remember you as, oh, hey, it's Alex. Yeah, he's been doing really well on his brand, on Turtle Monk brand,
yeah,
creating creating funny videos for Genshin Impact or really informational guides. You know, it's a different way of how you want to show to the world of who you are.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you really want to do things, bizarre things like Mr. Beast, right? Mr. Beast.
Yep, I remember
Yeah,
Mr. Beast.
like as you
Yep, I
mentioned,
remember him.
yeah, as you mentioned, eating hamburgers or French fries in 55 seconds. You see, he's known for doing that, right? He's known for making bizarre videos, like that creates a shock to a lot of people. So
Absolutely. And that's what he likes doing, then that's what he likes doing.
yeah. Crazy, crazy, but yeah, he beat the
Yeah,
algorithm, YouTube
absolutely.
algorithm. Yeah, so it's
Yep.
super awesome.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So also maybe let's do a little bit of a fun part when it comes to gaming. Rate
Okay.
some. Let's rate a few games from 1 to 10. Just
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Let's rate Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Miles
Spider-Man.
Morales. Miles Morales.
Spider-Man Miles Morales is a definite 8 for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definite 8. I have not played Spider-Man Miles Morales, but it looks amazing. It's beautiful, and there's a great story behind it.
Yes. Right. I've watched the stream actually, and it's super
Oh
fun.
wow!
Yeah.
Oh nice.
Yeah. So I would also rate that an 8, a 9. So I really love it, and it reminds me of the Batman games too. You know.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. I see what you mean then.
yeah. The
The Batman
Arkham
games
game.
are amazing.
Yeah. It was it was insane at that time. And then
Hmm.
like Spider-Man took a step further in that, and
Oh, really?
yeah, Batman references. Yeah, a lot of Batman.
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2. Wow. Okay. Now, I haven't played that either, but I'll definitely give it a 7.
7.
A 7. And the reason why I say that is because I played Last of Us 1, and I really love the story in Last of Us 1. Um, I definitely was thrown in for a ride when I saw Last of Us 2, because I was just, reading the story and everything like that. And
Yes.
I felt like it was too much angst for me, you know. I felt
Right.
like there was I felt like um I felt like it was very unrealistic, because I kind of like a little bit of slice of life in my games. But like I think it just felt like very forced in a sense. But yeah,
Yeah. Indeed. Among Us.
Among Us, so that's a 10. It's a fun game. I can't
Yeah,
say
it's
no to
really
Among
funny.
Us. It's
I
really
mean,
fun.
I'm sure the hype has already died, but a lot of people are still playing it.
Oh
It's still
yeah,
there. Yeah, it's still
it's
trending.
a he. It's funny because well, I wouldn't say it's funny, but it's interesting because um the people that I watch, like the content creators that I watch, his name is Disguised Toast, and
Oh,
he's the
toast.
one who's been doing really well with Among Us videos.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
so it's still trending. If anything, we don't know how long Among Us is gonna last for,
Yeah,
but there's no doubt about it that it's really been lasting for a long time, especially ever since they added the the program for proximity chat.
yeah.
Um,
That's a new
yeah,
update.
it's a definite upgrade. So that really spiced up the gameplay.
Yeah,
It's a simple indie game, but that's what makes it fun. It's a simple indie game, and people can just keep playing it over and over again.
correct. And also, people can a lot of people can collaborate with it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
see, as you can see, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of streamers are
Yes,
uh,
yes.
playing the game. You know, just like those, he's collaborating with the PewDiePie, with the
Mm-hmm.
Pokey, with the Corpse. A lot of them. So
It creates a lot of content that people like.
right. Yeah, and you can choose whatever streamer you like, whoever streamer you like,
Mm-hmm.
and the content is just there. There's a lot of
Oh yeah,
content.
absolutely. There's so much content.
So much fun and different perspectives, of course.
Yes, different mentalities, different how people look while playing in the game, how people interact while playing it. It's funny.
And Fall Guys.
Ooh, Fall Guys. Oh my God. So I'm gonna have to give this. Wow, I have to give this a 7. Also, they did really well in the beginning. They really did well in the beginning.
Yeah.
But oh, I thought you were gonna say something. Sorry. But yeah, I gave it a 7 because uh, after the hype of Fall Guys, they really went down, and the
Yeah.
reason being was because um, there was not a lot of diversity for
Right.
that game. You know, um, like the whole main focus for Fall Guys was to get number one. It's a battle royale game, and to get awesome skins with what you got, with the crowns that you get. Um, but however, after repeatedly doing the same games over and over and over again
Correct.
in Fall Guys, um, they 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 just it was just like a one-time thing, you know. Like
Indeed.
I feel like there wasn't, if it's a competitive game, if it well if well it's not a competitive game, obviously it's more of a casual game. Um, then they could have done something there. I felt like it was just a one-time thing, and that's about it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
fell short of sustaining the game for
Mm-hmm.
longer. And of course, Among Us killed the hype. I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's still a hype because it stayed true to its core game.
correct.
You know, I think Fall Guys was trying to do too much. That's why.
Correct. Yeah. All right. So one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Social media accounts. Where should we follow you on social media, Alex?
Um, for when I'm most active, definitely follow me on TikTok. Um, um, how my name is spelled is TURTLMUNK. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm not active there, but I'm more than welcome to answer DMs there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Those are the two main social media platforms I am currently on. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is also Turtle Monk as well. In the near future, I'll be posting videos. So
Yeah.
yeah. And if you like watching live streams, you can follow me on Twitch. Same thing, Turtle Monk.
Same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All handles are Turtle Monk.
Mm-hmm.
TUTL. No,
T.
no, 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 no. Missed that.
It's okay.
TURTL
Uh huh.
Monk. MUNK. There we go.
Yes. Turtle
Turtle
Monk.
Monk.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. So thank you so much, Alex, for being on. I really appreciate your time. Sorry,
You're welcome.
sorry,
I
I
enjoyed being
fell
here.
asleep. I fell asleep
Oh,
about
that's
2:30.
okay. It happens.
Yeah.
I mean, like country time zones is definitely challenging
Yeah.
for people around the world. So yeah.
Indeed. Okay. Thank you so much. You take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. You as well.
Merry Christmas. Of course.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Okay. Yes. All right.
Alrighty.